a former Lafayette municipal judge in Lafayette, Colorado, and a practicing attorney. And talking about a guy who wears a lot of hats, and a very nice one in his picture there. Leonard, welcome back to the show.
Dr. Radical Russ, how are you?
They gave me an honorary doctorate when I wasn't looking.
I call people by what I think they deserve, and sometimes the choice of words is different.
Well, I'm glad I got doctor. There's some other adjectives they could have picked that might not have been so flattering. Welcome back, Leonard. We're glad to have you here on the show. And, you know, as of this election now, we've gone 2 years in the state of Colorado with marijuana legalization. There was a bunch of election results where they tried to, or I guess they did, ban pot shops and raise taxes. What's your take on marijuana legalization 2 years in now?
Well, we had to shut the state down. You probably read that in this morning's Times. We had to shut the state down. The Capitol has collapsed in on itself. All of the roadways are a problem because all the bridges have now collapsed. And the aliens that we can no longer keep out are crawling down the streets. We're just hoping the National Guard and the federal government can come back in and save us from ourselves and this impending doom, impending disaster that I'm seeing all around me.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know anyone over the age of 8 that isn't a daily smoker, and they're all switching to heroin last week. So it's really been a pretty rough ride out here. Everyone's stolen all the money because it was all cash. So the actual tax collections have been they owe us money.
I think somehow Kevin Sabet has hacked into our phone line here.
Or Orson Welles.
Yeah, something like that. Now, Colorado is running quite smoothly, and I saw an estimate that it's going to be a $1 billion market there before we're done this year.
A very smart friend of mine whose specialty is mathematical analysis came up with a number that since January of 2011, it's been a 1.1 billion, that's B as in Bud, $billion business. And that's without, they have a new name for it. We used to call it the money multiplier. So without taking the money multiplier into account, where 2-3 year period, $1.1 billion.
That is just amazing. And of course, those of us in Alaska and Oregon who've just passed marijuana legalization, we're looking forward to that kind of, or at least some tax revenue coming in. It'll be a lot better than zero for sure. How about these localities, Leonard, that have passed these high taxes and are trying to ban pot shops? Is there any activity happening at the state level to maybe rein that in, maybe have more of a coherent statewide policy?
Oh, that's a fabulous question, and that's why the pause there. Let me take it in little pieces, but go through each little piece quickly. What we're seeing on the local ordinance level, city by city, and as you know, Colorado is the only real strong home rule state in the country. Our cities can have more power than in any other state. Cities are grabbing power, sometimes appropriately, odor violations, sometimes by claiming to be able to make medical patients register their personal 6-plant grows with the city. They're ignoring the Constitution. Pueblo has had an effort that NORML is fighting. So far, so good, knock on joint, that NORML is fighting, where Pueblo there for a while was trying to figure out how to ban even the personal 6-plant grow, which is what I have always seen as the saving grace, the saving clause, whatever you want to call it in the constitutional amendment. At the end of the day, if the government screws it up so much that I don't want to just go to the store, I can grow my own 6 plants. That's not my first choice. My friends are brilliant growers. Some of them have been doing it for 30 and 40 years. Legally, of course, I'm sure. But there's a huge amount of experience. They're good at it. I just soon go to the store. But if the government screws it up, not that they ever would, Not that the government would screw anything up. I can't even imagine that. But if we stretch our imagination, at the end of the day, we can learn to grow. We all know that seeds are manna from heaven. I don't know of any state law with all the progress we're making. I don't know of any state law that says, oh, by the way, here's your Adam and Eve. Here's how to get your first seed. Here's how to get your first clone. I don't know of a single law that provides for any legal way to do that. So it's kind of like saying, well, you can use gold for making wedding rings, but you have to steal the gold because we're just saying you can make wedding rings.
Right.
Gold is your problem. Well, for us, it's Panama gold that's our problem.
Yeah.
Where do we legally get the seeds? Well, manna from heaven. Getting back to the city issue, which is what you're asking about. The cities are going from those that are really reasonable to those that are pretty reasonable. Yesterday, I met with 3 Metro Task Force narcotics agents. They wanted to inspect my client's grow in a warehouse. It was a small grow, and it may have gotten smaller after they expressed their interest. I'm not sure. But instead of coming in to arrest these guys, they were coming in to inspect it to explain to him that the zoning in that area did not allow even the 5 plants that were there when the narcs visited. So think about this. Narcs visit your client's grow with your client's consent, with his attorney present as a courtesy. They look at the plants and say, would you please explain to your client that when we come back to visit, and we'll schedule that with you, we really have to see 0 plants because that's the zoning. So for your client to grow his plants, he's got to check into his location better. Put that in perspective. It almost makes me speechless, and that's saying something.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy the twists and turns that legalization is taking. We thought it would be, just get it legalized and then we'll go from there. But it just seems like there's more crazy things happening after legalization. One topic I did want to bring up with you, and I don't know how much you can tell us about this, but how the lawyers in Colorado are able to work with clients that are in the legal marijuana business. I know you guys have like ethics standards and things, and it's still federally illegal. Is there any progress on that?
I am really glad you asked. I am thrilled, delighted. Think of some other good adjectives. I couldn't be happier. Our state bar organization, the Colorado Bar Association, has taken a position that still makes me smile. I went to the main people that run the organization and said, what do you think about a marijuana law committee? Because we have criminal and we have tax and we have family, but now we've got this thing that's going on in every city, every county in the state that deals with zoning and taxes. And I say land use, but that would be the same as zoning, so I would never say that. Family law, child protection, criminal, water law, and the list goes on. In my mind, a bar association committee that would put all those people at the same table was a good next step. So I passed it on to the decision makers, and they said to me, okay, we'll get back to you. I was absolutely certain that was the last I'd ever hear of it, forgetting for a moment that I knew these people, and these are not drop-the-ball people. About 2 weeks later, each of the 2 key people, the president of the Bar Association and the executive director, each of them came to me individually with big smiles saying, it's a go. And I said, what the joint are you talking about? And they said, no, it's a go. And they're smiling, and I'm still sitting there thinking I just had a few hits of some really good dab and thinking what the the joint's going on here. Finally, I was able to listen, and they said, here's the way it works. First, we form a special committee. We determine level of interest. If there's interest, then, if we want to, we can dub it a committee. We had a meeting of the special committee. We had over a dozen people there, the largest attendance ever, is what I'm told, for a bar committee special. Let's see what we have. We had our first meeting. We had 17 to 20 people, 5 or so. We had 17 to 20 lawyers. We had water lawyer, tax lawyer, family lawyer, pot lawyer. We had me at the table. We had one of the top people in the MED, the Marijuana Enforcement Division, the people that give out all the badges and licenses and grow licenses. We had their lawyer at the table. The person from the Bar Association that's our liaison, that keeps us organized, keeps us together. I'm probably not supposed to say this, so I will say it because I always step on my joint. She said it's one of the most exciting committees she's dealt with since she's started, and the largest attendance at the beginning of any new section that she has seen in her 17 years. The president of the Bar Association waved the sword, tapped me on each shoulder with his sword, and said, "You are now the Cannabis Law Committee."
Wow.
Well, actually what he said is, "You're now a committee." We sat down and had to figure out what to call ourselves. Cannabis Law Committee. The president appointed me. That's his job. He appointed me as chair. So my ego is really thrilled to say I am the chair of the first Bar Association Cannabis Law Committee on the planet.
That is amazing news. Thank you, Lenny, and thank you for breaking that news here on 420 Radio. That's all the time we've got for now, but we'll get you back on in a future episode to discuss what happens with the CLC. We're really looking forward to it. Thanks for telling us.
Likewise.
All right, folks, we got to go. Lenny Frieling's with Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. Check him out at leap.cc. You can get a great speaker like him to your local event. They put a lot of truth to power at Leap, so please give them a call. We're going to take a break, give you the